reality is that we, regardless of our gender, are no longer safe in the places where we were traditionally meant to be safe. In our homes, our schools, our places of worship, institutions that are meant to guard our integrity are failing us. This is our reality. Therefore, our children who should aspire and be protected are no longer finding safe space. Chanya, you remember the story of 13-year-old Ochanya? Ochanya could have grown to become that self-assured woman, but that's never to be. Ochanya is not a survivor, she's a victim. The crime of sex offense transcends borders. Someone can commit an offense here and run somewhere and think they are safe. There's no longer a hiding place. So if we have a law, even if that law speaks to the FCT, we will challenge that law and test it. There can be no excuse for it. Because sometimes we hear people say, why did you wear a miniskirt? Why did you go there? Hello? It is my choice to dress as I deem fit. It is your problem if you have a mental instability that makes you attack me. There can be no sexual harassment without sexual corruption. There can be no sexual harassment unless there's sexual corruption. And that is what we need to focus on. Therefore, minors are being raped. If that's the case, what's a 3-month-old baby done? What does she know? What's a grandmother's crime? So we need to begin to shift the onus of blame onto people who no longer hide what's going on in their lives. And so the question has actually been asked, is it that there's an increase, there is a spike in crime, in a crime such as rape, or is it that people are finding the courage to speak more about something that's always been with us in our society? And that's something that we need to study. Sex offense has now been criminalized, but it has been given a diminished status in law compared with, say, murder. A person can easily get away with sex offense. You go to the police station and the police tells you, not be just rape. Why would I not go out, just go settle this matter? Which is a tragedy for an institution that's meant to support and protect us, to diminish our personhood because they think rape is a lesser crime.
There's no statute of limitation for rape, and so unfortunately, experience has taught us in NAPTIP to see that family members are mainly the cause of the problem of these victims, because they are even ashamed for the victims. They forget that they are not even the ones, who have been, debased and molested and defiled. They come and tell you, we have settled it in the family way. And I say, no, you cannot settle anything in the family way. And they know that when it comes to rape, I take it very seriously and very personal. And when people try to settle, I say, no, you're not settling this one. This one is a crime against the state, and we're going to prosecute you. So family members, you can settle any other thing, but when it comes to this one, I am certainly not settling with you. Because they are the ones who have the problems. And they don't think of the victims themselves. They just come and think you can settle on behalf of somebody, which should be discouraged. So we need to learn to call people who have been, defiled and raped, and abused, to learn to speak out, because gone are the days, there's no stigma. You all know what's going on now with the Dakolos. I mean, one would never, in a few years ago, imagined that a married woman will come out to talk about something that happened to her while she's even happily living with her husband, and her husband will give her support. So I think this is a very good example for us and for others, victims who have been, in this kind of situation, to be able to learn to speak out. And I'm very happy that I know that with your support, you begin to call on people, encourage people, victims, to come out to speak about it, and so that we can prosecute whoever, the offender is. What in NAPTIP, there's no status for us in NAPTIP. There's no big man or big woman. We've gone into the villa to fish somebody out, and people were shocked that, how you mean you can arrest this kind of woman? And I said, well, in NAPTIP, nobody is too big or too small.
At a pace in time in Nigeria, why this issue of sexual violence has become exponential. The levels are increasing. Of course, there is a discussion as to whether indeed the rate of sexual violence is going up, or whether what we see, the reason why we hear so much is because people are able to report it more these days with the help of social media, with the help of other, gadgets, the media generally, and whether there is just more an increase in reporting rather than an increase in trend. We've been working on this for the past 8 months. This consultation with the media, this dialogue with the media is actually part of the next steps towards making it public. Our intention actually is for it to go live by the 30th of July. In less than 2 weeks from today, it will go live. Hopefully some of the feedback we are getting from this engagement will help us to refine it further and bring it live. But the point I want to make is that because we're breaking new ground here, when it goes live, it may not be as perfect as people would like for it to be. We acknowledge that it's going to be work in progress, and that the first step is the boldness for it to go live, to get sufficient buy-in from media, from the security agencies, from various stakeholders, that this tool is really going to help, and that this tool will contribute in ending the impunity and deterring offenders in the future. And because we are building that consensus that this tool is necessary, I personally think that this is the right moment in Nigeria for this tool to go right. If you look at the social media, the regular media in the past month in Nigeria, it's been awash with one report or the other on sexual violence, whether it is incest, whether it is rape, and whether it's abuse in spaces that were traditionally safe for people, in homes, in schools, in places of worship. We are finding that this issue is playing out in the most horrendous manner, and we need to speak up. And I believe that this sexual offenders register will be a significant contribution to ending this culture of violence, to ending impunity. We're working closely with NAPTIP to develop this digital platform. But it's not just NAPTIP. NAPTIP is just one of the agencies. We have a HIMAT, what we call a HIMAT, which consists of key, senior level stakeholders drawn from the police, from immigration, from civil defense. We have from the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs. So it's a high-level multi-agency task team, which we call the HIMAT. And this periodically meets. They have all bought into the idea, and some of them, of these agencies, because they receive reports of violence, will also have a right to enter data into this platform. In addition to the HIMAT, we also have a structure consisting of service providers. Now, one of the interesting innovations about this sex offenders register is that it's not just about naming and shaming. It is also about providing services to survivors of violence. So it's a two-sided approach, because ethically, once a violation of a sexual nature has been reported, either in a child or in an adult, it automatically triggers a response mechanism. So we have done, like a one-stop shop. The platform is a one-stop shop where you can report, but you can also access services. We've already got some of the service providers to register on the platform. So we're not just looking at just punishing, naming and shaming. We're also looking at support for victims, whether it's psychosocial, legal support, whether it's counseling services that they require, whether it's shelters that they require. We're able to trigger that response mechanism within this platform. Now, the way it is conceptualized is that your name only goes public, the name of the perpetrator only goes public when they have been convicted. We are working within the framework of the laws in Nigeria, and the laws clearly presume people to be innocent. So we do not want to be naming and shaming people when they are still presumed to be innocent. So the idea is that they go through a proper, investigation, properly arraigned, and when they are convicted, their name goes on the register. But we also acknowledge that the judicial process in Nigeria is slow, and that it will take a certain level of judicial activism to get some conviction. So we're saying if we're going to wait for convicted cases to get on the register, it might take a very long time for that to happen, given the the time lag between arraignment and conclusion or conviction. So we are saying that somewhere at the sub-level, not accessible to the public, is that we'll be able to keep a record of people who are alleged to have committed crimes of a sexual nature, who have been arraigned, not accessible to the public, but just as a tracker. Because some of these cases widely reported on the media, immediately it is reported in the public, it triggers in some way a documentation process.
WFM 91.7.